I've had a privilege, of course, of working with young people within the employability space quite a long time. And what I can say here is that career development begins almost at baby steps. It's very easy. For example, my grandmother once told me that I used to love walking around when I was young with a hammer and some nails. Maybe that meant something. Maybe meant creativity, meant that I love things that, jog my mind and things like that.
Full Sunday evening here in Kigali, Rwanda. Welcome back to the Niche Business Innovation Talk Show. It's been quite a minute since we last appeared, but the talk show is weekly, as you had been accustomed to. And in the past, we've had businesses, startups, entrepreneurs coming on board to showcase their, strategies in investment and also innovation. And today we are on another chapter that is quite complementary to what we have been doing, and this is career coaching. And that's why we have Emmanuel today with us. He's from Nairobi, Kenya, has an international career coaching and business coaching company, and we are glad to have you on board. Welcome to Rwanda.
Thank you very much.
Would you please introduce yourself and what you do?
Thank you very much. My name is Emmanuel, commonly known as Emmanuel, the Career Growth Coach. I run a Pan-African business. My business is known as Halton Career Consultants. I also run another one called Fresh Jobs Kenya, specifically domiciled within Kenya. But my work is to empower professionals, especially the mid-level to senior level professionals who would want to earn more, have jobs that they desire to go every morning, and also increase their value both on paper and, at the place of work. I'm really, really happy to be here in Rwanda. Thank you.
Talk of an international brand. Well, just on LinkedIn, you have quite some visibility, and the activities you do,
Yes.
The articles you run are quite, encouraging. So
Yes.
looking at the three aspects you mentioned,
Yes.
growing career people to earn more, to position themselves, to
Yes.
love what they do,
Yes.
and also to create value for their
Yes.
companies, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
Then we go to the university level, where now you have to choose a full-fledged career.
Yes.
But you find that it depends also on your strengths,
Yeah.
your ambitions, and your passions.
Yes.
So now, bringing all that into play, at what point do you take up, you said in the mid to senior level, or career in the mid to senior level career, but what about when we are choosing even the careers from the earlier stages that I mentioned? Yes, please.
So interestingly, on the continent, we have a big problem between industry, the education system, and also the different stakeholders that play within that space. I've had a privilege, of course, of working with young people within the employability space quite a long time. And what I can say here is that career development begins almost at baby steps. It's very easy. For example, my grandmother once told me that I used to love walking around when I was young with a hammer and some nails. Maybe that meant something. Maybe meant creativity, meant that I love things that, jog my mind and things like that. So as you sit there as a parent, you're playing a very critical role to help your child get into the careers they love. It's easier for you to see. Don't just look at what you do or the stature that you have in society. But I would want you to look at exactly what your child loves and teach your child the P and L of it. I tell people that they need to treat anything they do from a profit and loss perspective. So for as long as you can make money, and make that money legally, then the question is how much can you be able to make? So to me, career development begins, it's a daily activity. There are things you need to be talking about every day. And in this case, the society must be involved. We are talking about the parents, we are talking about the teachers, we are talking about the government itself, we are talking about the church or religious organizations. And it's something that we need to incorporate within our day to day. That is what I would say. Glad to be those days.
Well, I ended up in my domain,
Yes.
which I actually love and which has brought us to this show,
Yes,
which
yes.
is actually business, and combining that with my background in engineering and ICT,
Yes.
and now into the innovation and entrepreneurship space, business space.
Yes.
It brings a lot of excitement in my daily work, in my daily activities at work.
Yes.
So just to wondering again,
Yes.
how do you make people love their job?
It begins in a very interesting way. First of all, most people get into jobs, get into professions that they do not understand. Most people are actually driven by money. The moment you start being driven by money, you lose the basic of that particular job or that career. So for you to be able to love what you do, you need to understand the soft side of everything that you do. One thing that you'll notice on, worldwide is that we serve each other. What you do serves me. What I do serves you. So the moment you realize that the bottom line is that I'm serving another human being or making someone's life to become better, then you'll find the things that you enjoy doing. But if you're looking at it from this job doesn't give me the money that I want or will give me the money that I want, then you lose it at that point. So sometimes it's not about money. And you're likely to thrive more if you're doing something that comes from inside than something that is something that is external. It's almost like you're being bribed to go to work. But what if you went to work without feeling like you need to be bribed? That would be more exciting. So you need to relook and check. If you are doing something that is not exciting, I'm not telling you to leave it. But what I'm telling you is, can you use it as a platform to get something else that you like doing? Or you can really just find out something within what you're doing that will make you excited. That's all I can say.
So having been in a long-term career, I will just share maybe my experiences and that of others that I know.
Yes.
Well, starting off in the engineering department, where
Yes.
what you do on a daily basis, your solutions that you create,
Yes.
and the problems that you fix,
Yes.
you're doing them in the back end.
Yes.
And you don't you may not get the immediate credit, and I mean the credit of the customers, because your company will appreciate what you do if you
Yes.
do it well.
Yes.
But the customer facing person, which I graduated into and became a full-fledged business leader, if I may say,
Yes.
the customer facing person takes more credit. They see the real impact of what they are doing. Sometimes they take the credit even for the back-end people that that are running the solutions.
Yes.
So I just wanted to balance that with where are the opportunities, where is the money, the profit and loss story that you're talking about,
Yes.
and just make our future workforce
Yes.
to be vested, to be really into what they are doing. Because when I came to the customer side, to the customer facing side, then I got more excited because I said, okay, all along, this is what I have been creating, and this is how it has been impacting the customers. So I
Yes.
never looked back. And I started going back to the engineers and telling them, guys, you don't know what you're doing for the market out there.
Yes.
And gradually they also, come to the forefront and see that, okay, when they're in support, when they are talking to customers, they don't just talk technical stuff. They also try to talk the customer's language. So this is how my career, for example, has transitioned. But if you take it down even to the level of the people that are graduating,
Yes.
the people in school.
Yes.
How do we make them have a choice that will give them a lasting, lasting love or interest, and also, passion
Yes.
in what they do, not just for the money, but also to create impact in the marketplace?
I think I love that question. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, you'll realize that in my About section, I've said that I have a target to impact more than 1 million people. Why am I using the word 1 million people? I'll break down the biggest challenge that most people have with what they do. Most people don't look at what they do from a value perspective. And that is the P&L that I was talking about. I'll give you an example. Today, a driver has taken people around, but that driver is going home not knowing what they've done. The only thing they know is to drive and pick people and drop them. But you see, out of the people being picked, there are some that have been taken to hospital. Had they not been taken to hospital, they would not be alive. Some people have gone to work and they've done so much of a good job where they've gone. So if this driver has to be motivated to wake up every morning, they have to think about the people they transport from one end to the other. The same thing happens with somebody that cooks. You're cooking for people who are building the nation. That is the value that you add. So one thing that I would encourage you to do as a profession is to always track what you do. It doesn't matter if you're back end, it doesn't matter if you're a cleaner, you're actually cleaning the toilet for the who and who to do their work. If you do not clean that toilet, they will not come to that place. And if they don't come, they will not deliver what is expected. So everybody is very useful. But unless you can be able to track and know in form of numbers, figures, then you will not know the value that you're delivering. So motivation starts by understanding the role that you play. And it happens even in our relationships. If I know that I'm doing this and this is useful, I'll be happier that I'm appreciated for what I bring on the table. But if I do not understand, for example, the people that are so much underrated in our society are the gate people. Assume today there was a terrorist that would come and bomb a building. Sorry for using that example. We will all blame the security people. But how much do we appreciate them for what they do for the things that didn't happen? That is actually the value that we're talking about. So I hope that from today you can now begin to say, whether you're back end or front end, you are making an impact. Document it yourself. Talk about it. That is the only way you can you can bring out your value, and that is the only way you can grow your visibility for people to appreciate what you do. You carry your own story, in short.
And working in busy sectors like telecoms, banks, and others,
Yes.
you get to cross-function with all these departments.
Yes.
But the end results or the goal is to focus on the customer needs.
Yes.
And deliver.
Yes.
So these industries have grown to know the impact, or because they are in quite high competition, and everybody knows, whether they are in the back end or the front end, they know the impact of what they are doing.
Yes.
So I think that temperament is already created because of the competitiveness of the industry. So,
Yes.
but now I am trying to bring the element that if you are well, you are quite ambitious and passionate in
Yes.
what you do,
Yes.
the rewards will come.
Yes.
Has this been found to be true? Because we see the people that are going up the ladders,
Yes.
and what has led to their promotion. Is it just because they have been creating an impact all through from the lower steps of the ladder? Do we advise people out there that want to go up the ladder?
The easiest example for you to use is the example of a politician. If you would want to understand how to grow your career, look at the life of a politician. One thing that a politician does is they are ever loud. They always document everything they do. and they will always bring it out to the public to set the record: stagnation. So what I would advise us to do is, first of all, document your value. Bring out your value on a day-to-day basis in a very strategic way. I'm not just saying that you become loud for nothing. No. Understand what can you be able to do on a day-to-day basis just to be able to be seen that you're adding value. And is not even the level of education that they have. I see people getting papers. They run for MBAs, they run for certifications, but they forget that how they are perceived. If they are perceived to be bringing value or bringing something on the table, they will earn more. But if they are perceived otherwise, they'll just be treated whatever it is that they are treated, using whatever papers they have, whether a PhD, nobody will care about it.
So
Yes.
a doctor in the office.
You can be, yes, you can be a doctor in the office without.
Yes, but I think politics may work, but I think in some environments there's no room for politics, because it's more about, as you mentioned correctly, the results, what you are known for,
Yes.
what you have built your career around, because you have to have a specialty to stand out.
Yes.
Everybody can work hard.
True.
Everybody can, but there are those few people that are committed, those people that you will tell to do something and they will deliver at any cost. And I believe even in business, that's what customers are looking for.
Yes.
So yeah, what you mentioned about branding yourself is correct, because even companies put a lot of money on marketing and branding.
True.
So yes, you may be a silent worker, but also when you're given a platform, use it. So yeah,
Actually, you look for the platform.
you look for the platform.
Yes, because nobody's going to give you those platforms.
Yes, but at the end of the day, when you work hard, it will be noticed. I believe we all borrow from the classroom environment, where the hard worker will definitely, So
Maybe just to add something on that so that it can help you moving forward. We are getting into the era of competitiveness. Competitiveness means that you have to learn things that will help you be ahead of the rest. I'll give you an example. We are seated here and we are going through a recording, for example. But you have to understand the quality of a good recording, not because you want to do that work. So the future of work dictates that we build our competitiveness so that even if they're looking for one African to do something, that one African is you and not another person, not even your twin brother. That is what competitiveness is all about. So I would encourage people to be very competitive. Don't look at your country. Look at other countries that are producing people and benchmark. Don't look at Africa, look at the world and ask yourself, if today you are to stand out and be like the founder of Microsoft, would people listen to you from across the continents? That is how you need to be thinking about yourself. And you can build those structures yourself. Yes.
And I want to go back to what you've just mentioned, because it's critical even at the lowest level of education, because education prepares us for the career.
Yes, yes.
So now what we see here in Rwanda,
yes.
Some parents are taking their children to very expensive schools, international schools,
yes.
to expose them.
Yes.
So they want to give them the international experience from within the local scene setup. So it means that the more the exposure, the more they can be capable.
Yes.
So what we need to do through technology is to bring all these experiences to the school or to the workplace, to develop our mindset to think beyond the environment that we are in. Because if you are developing, for example, an engineering solution or a product, you have to think, okay, if a customer is using it maybe in Kenya or in South Africa or in Europe, will they appreciate it?
Yes.
Or you're just developing it for the local market? Because most of our companies are even going international.
True.
So the international experience, the exposure, the awareness is all key, also to package yourself to be the best out there. So not just for the best for Rwanda or the best for Kenya or the best for, East Africa, but also beyond.
Yes, yes.
And this is what technology is bringing to the table. Now, talking of technology, there's also the threat. Because with AI, our jobs are going to be extinct, and we may likely be self disrupted
Yes, yes.
when the time comes. So how do we prepare our workforce for this, and even the future generations for this, apart from of course in self-employment, entrepreneurship, and business setup, but also to be relevant when the time comes and companies are using technology than people.
In fact, I would say that the time is now. We don't have time left for us to be able to cope up with AI. And I'm saying this at the backdrop of a meeting that I attended in Cape Town just a week ago. One of the examples that we were given in Cape Town was that there's a company with 5,000 employees, which is actually providing accounting services, accounting solutions, which automated everything. And all the 5,000 people had to be repurposed. They've actually been retrained to provide business development, customer relationship, and that kind of support. That company is a very kind company. I don't want to mention the names of the company. But that organization has given a new lifeline for the future of those people. But most of what you're going to see, especially on our continent, will be some sort of redundancies that will be declared based on such kind of moves. So what do you need to do? Everything that you do today has the AI aspect of it. What you need to ask yourself is, are you on the right side of AI? Are you driving together with AI as your partner? Or are you watching AI go ahead of you? These are things that will not be taught in class. In fact, AI has no capability to be taught very well in class. You will only be taught the structures and some protocols of it, because it keeps changing every week. So the most important thing that would work for you is to have a curious mind, to have critical thinking, and ask yourself, how can I bring a solution that is AI related to what I'm doing? How can I be the human link? The most critical part here is going to be the human link, because technology is delinking people at a very high rate. So anything that is human, that would create a relationship with another human being, that is something that you need to really start focusing on. So people who are customer facing, people who are providing solutions, those kinds of people might have a lifeline around them. Then if you're working, let's say, for example, you're in the accounting space or the finance space, you need to merge technology and accounting. So if it means that you have to go and understand the AI side of things, or how technology plays part in finance, then you can be a leader. Lead AI. That way you'll be safe. But if you come behind AI for sure is going to leave you behind.
Are we having the same emergency within the school setup, right from the elementary to the tertiary school system? Is there AI adoption that is responding to this emergency that you're raising across our economies?
Unfortunately, I've not seen that. The governments are lagging behind, and to me, this is quite unfortunate. We have a lot of rigidity within the way that we do things. We have policies that don't change, but I would see that this what I can predict is that this is actually going to change, because one thing that I've seen even in my own house is that my children have adopted AI. Actually, each of my child has their own AI account that I monitor. So they learn things, and I pay for example, my AI, I pay for it, and I have sub accounts for them. So they develop their curiosity around that. I can monitor that, I can check, And if they're doing that ahead of their teachers, then that is going to be a big, big problem, I think.
I think there's no running away from the fact that AI has, for whoever is active on
Yes.
the right platforms, whoever is curious, who wants to be ahead of the game,
Yes.
those tools are available,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of awareness being made around. Even the ICT ministries, for example, here in Rwanda, are putting forward that very agenda of AI adoption in every sector. So thanks to, like, for example, the Rwanda Ministry of ICT, I see I see a lot of readiness and response to the AI disruption.
Yes.
So just to also mention that there will be no risk for those who are ahead of the game. As you already mentioned, even the English say, if you can't beat them, join them.
Join them,
So
yes.
even at our older age, or people who have already in their maturity of career, we should not be afraid to latch onto these technologies, whichever sector you're in. Now, there's another interesting question for the 9 to 5 workforce.
Yes.
The people that are that are in the full-time career.
Yes. Yes.
And how there's this concern and talk about financial independence, and getting financially free is associated with going into self-employment and entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship is with us even in the workplace, but also setting up your own businesses and running them with the full energies behind, and that is seen as a major way of breaking to become financially free. So what is your take on this as a career coach?
So financial freedom is quite relative, I would say that. What is freedom for you is not freedom for me. What is freedom is here is not freedom where I come from. But I would say that it is true. They say that nobody ever got wealthy working from 9 to 5. It's a common saying that cuts across, and I totally agree with it. But I'd like to tell you that the future that you're heading into, and that's why I'm a proponent of the future of work and I look at it a lot. One of the things that I'm telling people to do right now is in 10 years or less, you can earn as much as you want to earn, because that future will not have the 9 to 5 as we know it. That future is going to have what value are you bringing on board?
Yes.
The future business models. I tell people to put everything they want to do, document it, visualize it, plan it, and ask themselves how they're going to make money out of it before they even resign and get into it. It is not easy. We mentioned that one of the things that we need to appreciate is that we are in the era of competitiveness, and you have to really be at the top. So start now. Begin to talk about the solutions you'll provide 10 years from now. Begin to grow your thought leadership. That is the easiest way to establish yourself in entrepreneurship. So if you want to sell cars, for example, begin to talk about cars now. Someone might not understand why you're in customer service and you're talking about cars, but then when you leave customer service and now begin to sell cars, people can connect. So focus on how to start building what it is that you will be doing in future now. Don't wait until the future, then you start building it. You will have a lot of time to, you'll have you'll waste a lot of time. That's really what I wanted to mention.
So be an entrepreneur within whichever setup you are in.
Yes.
And that is how actually you stand up.
Yes.
You stand out, rather. So tell us more about the East African economy, the Kenyan economy, and how all this that we've been discussing is playing out. Being, I believe, a mature economy that is running quite big companies like the banks that we see across the region. These are Kenyan born, and how has that been playing out in that economy?
Looking at the economies, I'd say that the Kenyan economy is driven largely by innovation. That is what I would say. Kenya has had a steady history of attracting business, at least in the East African region. But the beauty about it is that the entire East African is a growth frontier, even on the continent. That's the beautiful thing. You look at, Uganda, you look at Rwanda, you look at Ethiopia up there. All these countries are all growing at an exponential, fairly an exponential level. So what I would say is that we've had a history. Our private sector dates back all the way from the early 2000s and had been muzzled a bit, but when it was now open, got a lot of space. And that space is what has really helped, the private sector to grow. I'm seeing that private sector also opening up in other countries, but I'd say that looking at Kenya versus the other East African countries, the private sector is much larger in Kenya than these other countries. Government is a bit the biggest spender in these other countries, but Kenya, the private sector is bigger, employing more people than government. So I'd say that the more that the economy begins to open up, like what is happening in Rwanda, there's a lot of influx of investors. That is what is going to open up the private sector and employ even more people.
It's the regional ICT hub for quite some time, and this has been intentionally driven by, the government and its stakeholders to ensure that being being landlocked and not be very heavy on commodity, then it will focus on the knowledge and service sector. And thus far, we've come that every sector is ICT enabled. And now we're seeing that even the private sector is going to be bigger than any other, relatively big, because there's a lot of attraction. Visit Rwanda, setting up a company takes less than a day. And this all has created, I see actually a lot of companies setting up in Rwanda as the headquarter and then going and getting into other markets. So tell me, you told me that you visit Rwanda on average 3 to 4 times a year. What brings you all these times to Rwanda?
So I like joking and saying that Rwanda is my second home for good reasons. One is, I love learning a lot myself. One of the things that I would encourage you to do is to be a lifelong learner. Learn something new every single day. So curiosity within me, of course, brought me to Rwanda the first time. But when I came, I saw a country that has a potential to grow. When I'm here, I see a lot of potential more than I see it in Kenya, because in Kenya, we at a point where we're almost reaching what we call the ceiling, which is given, which is okay. But here, I would see that there's more space to invest in. The environment, in terms of the business environment, is also very welcoming. The people, a lot of similarities with Kenyans. The serenity of the place, of course, touted as one of the cleanest place on the continent. And I've visited several other places, and I agree with that fact. So when I'm tired a little bit back home, then of course I have to look for the second home. That's why I keep coming here. So I'll keep coming. Who knows, maybe might be thinking of restarting my business here or relaunching a branch here, I'm not sure.
How relatively easier is it to do business, for example, in Rwanda, having enabled all these e-services, e-government, e-learning, everything? So how do you see the international community or even the business sector within benefiting from this?
So I'd say that Rwanda has put in the structure, and that's what I like about it. They have, everything is very structured. For us, we might have a challenge where there are things that are not structured. In as much as business can be done, but it's not structured in a way. But here, the structure has been put in place. So the way you've planned your city and everything, it's futuristic. That would mean that it will reach a point where when all these things are functioning optimally, then this market becomes more attractive. So for me, I'm looking at the future that Rwanda has than looking at how the market looks like today.
I think it's also the awareness and the penetration of, you know, the more exposure, the more like the government has recently rolled out more than 1.2 million smartphones in partnership with one of the telecom operators here in Rwanda. And all those new smartphone adapters will all now latch onto some of these services that we have probably not been penetrating with before. So
Yes.
it's a continuous build-up.
It is.
And I think when we hold each other hand in hand, we'll achieve this within our African or East African economies particularly. So any last words or call to action?
My last call to action would be anybody that is watching this program, don't look at yourself defined by the country you come from. Look at yourself as a global citizen, but more so a very active player on the continent. One of the things that has made us really lag behind is we're so much disintegrated as a continent. But if we were to look at our problems together, provide solutions together, provide services across board, then I will tell you that we have a lot of money, we have a lot of resources, we have a lot of market already on our continent. So I encourage you to count Africa as home and do so much that you can be able to do for this continent to change someone's life. Thank you so much for this platform.
Thank you. I think you will have another session that talks about the African market and how to, you know, together as economies come together to take advantage of this huge. So when the maturity of the industrialization comes in, then this market will suffice to, you know, to consume all the products that are planned even for the future. But I guess that is a work in progress. So thank you very much, Emmanuel, for visiting Rwanda and the niche in particular. We look forward to host you another day and even to showcase what you will have attained after a long time. Thank you so much, our viewers. Stay tuned next time. It's always a pleasure to have you at the niche, and we look forward to host more shows that are talking about innovation, entrepreneurship, business scaling, and even the career as we did today. God bless.